The release of the Tax Administration Diagnostic Assessment Tool for global use shifts the focus from developing the tool to sustaining the quality of the TDOT framework and ensuring the adoption of the methodology worldwide. It is the TDOT Secretariat that has a crucial role to play through monitoring and quality assurance of assessments, engagement and global outreach, training of assessors and assessment leaders, and research and analytical work. Most importantly, TDOT framework will help facilitate a dialogue and coordination between the stakeholders.
The more important objective of TDOT is to create synergies among the different stakeholders that are supporting efforts in domestic resource mobilization. The principal objective is a framework that helps stakeholders to get a common diagnostic and help countries in a better prioritization of the effort to improve in the areas of weaknesses. And 3-4 years on the road, you will make a new assessment and see what happened with the result of your effort. So that's the core objective of TDOT.
I think the role of TDOT is mostly that it will help prioritize resources to help us identify which areas we should work in. There is a great need for improvements in tax administration in many countries, and it's important to know, which parts of the tax administrations that the needs are most urgent.
I have high hopes for TDOT. I think that it's a tool that many institutions will begin to use and adopt in assessing tax administrations and in designing or reevaluating the programs that they implement with tax administrations around the world. I think it will also be an important tool for us to be able to conduct research and analysis and even cross-country comparisons in the future.
From the U.S. Treasury Office of Technical Assistance's perspective, TDOT will greatly inform the relevance and efficacy of its technical assistance efforts in recipient countries, given the objective of assisting countries to mobilize higher levels of domestic revenue in a professional, transparent, and equitable manner. For developing countries in particular, the results of a TDOT assessment serve as guideposts for donor assistance aimed at generating more money to support sustained development. Finally, a more widespread use of TDOT will address the problem of different donors using different assessment methodologies, different progress benchmarks, and inconsistent improvement strategies. In other words, TDOT provides a common tool and a common language for donors and aid recipients to work better together.
We have, with all the partners, we have put in place a strong, very sound tool. But the question of performance of tax administration is not a beauty contest. It's not, the objective is not to assess which tax administration perform better than the others. The objective is, based on the assessment, how we can trigger reforms. And this will be the next step, and I think the vision for the future in terms of the medium term, based on TDOT, to support reforms.
2015 has been a seminal year in global development. Two key events have already remarkably influenced the development landscape. The July 2015 Financing for Development Conference in Addis Ababa and the September 2015 Sustainable Development Goals Summit in New York. Decisions taken during this pivotal year will resonate for decades to come. The fiscal theme enunciated by the European Commission is therefore apt: collect more, spend better. Suitably, TDOT has been designed to support this wider international agenda, and the timing could not be better.
TDOT presents the forum for dialogue at country level between the revenue authorities and international tax experts. This is what I think is that the countries realize themselves that where there are opportunities for increased revenue mobilization, and that is where the future lies. After all, we don't want the countries to be dependent on development aid forever. I think that is the past. We are in a new area, we are in a new cooperation area, and I think with an instrument like that, countries can realize that they can very well raise revenue themselves, and also from international taxation from multinational companies. They can raise revenue, and so they can use that money.
It is clear that TDOT is a timely and much-needed addition to the revenue management toolkit and has a potential to play a role at the national and subnational levels and on the international stage.
There are so many things about TDOT and the methodologies that it describes that are applicable to, I think, not only national, but potentially subnational revenue agencies. And I think that maybe with some tweaking, there's a real future for TDOT on the state level.
At the moment, there's a certain momentum to do more on the international tax agenda. There's standards developed by OECD which have to be implemented and also to be implemented by developing countries. And I think maybe in future, TDOT could even focus more on these questions. How are the capacities of tax administrations in developing countries to implement these international standards?
With these expectations, countries of all income levels can adopt and use the TDOT framework to strengthen their administrations and revenue mobilization capacity.